Hello and a warm welcome to you all. My name is Mark Morley, and this is the IT Business Partner Playbook, a new series where I'll be joined every week by business relationship managers and business partners from around the globe. We'll be discussing what BRM means to them, where they fit in their organization, and whether they can explain what it is they do in less than 30 minutes. This week we're talking to Muslim Mohammed, a BRM for Hamad Medical in Qatar. Muslim is a very active member of the community, and he was instrumental in organising the BRMs World Tour event there recently. So we're looking forward to hearing all about that. So good afternoon to you, Muslim. Thanks again for joining us. Can I hand over to you for a quick introduction, and then we can talk about what it is to be a BRM in your world?
Thank you so much, Mark, for inviting me here to the IT Business Partner Playbook. And I'm very happy to be here and share my experiences. First, about myself, I've been into the BRM domain from the past 5 years. This is my 6th year, but before that, I have more than 28 years of healthcare industry experience, and where I've been working on different positions like commissioning of hospitals, quality, and project management, and finally I had my IT project management, and I come to the BRM because my management identified me when they were establishing a BRM capability within the organization, that they were looking for selective people within the department of IT, where they can be a IT BRM, and then they thought I would be a good person to be in this role. And when they told me about it, I was pretty excited that because this is what I've been doing I think all my life, and this is what excites me, the relationship bit. So yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. Had you heard about the BRM or business partnering role before they mentioned it to you?
Not really. But what I was also doing a role of a account manager. I think that was much similar to this. And I've been a project coordinator, program manager, project manager. So everything required that bit of, relationship a bit in them. And that would make things easier for me. And that was what I was good at, what everyone told me. And when this came to my, I just grabbed this role. Yeah.
What do you think of all those previous roles that you've had? What do you think has helped you the most in your BRM role?
I think the people have helped me. The way I dealt with people, and I got responses from them, positive, of course, responses many a times, and some were challenging. But what I understood is that if you want to get anything done, the way you want it, or the way it should be rightly done, you need to really have that one-to-one relationship people. That makes things easier. Processes definitely will put the systems together in a right way, but then that's it, but you have to get work done through people. So how do you build that? You can't just command or demand someone for work to be done for you or for the project.
Right.
You need to really have that one-to-one relationship here. That has helped me all through.
Yeah. Okay. What in your role has evolved the most? So since you started your role, which was a new role, obviously there was a lot of learnings and a lot of kind of finding your way. What's changed since you started the role?
Yeah, so we started from, of course, scratch. What we were done is that you really need to be, trained in a professional way. So what we did is that within the department, we trained the identified BRMs right away from the Business Relationship Management Institute, and on the BRMP. We got trained and we got certified as BRMPs. That's the starting point which we had, and that really kicked off very well, because we knew exactly what is expected what would be our role, and we knew like business relationship as business relationship managers, what we should be doing in a vague idea we had, but exactly, what are the principal techniques, and what are the methodologies of putting our things together, way forward with BRM in the department. I think we got right in the beginning trained on that, so that really helped us.
Yeah, I mean, definitely to have, so that you got a level playing field, so you're all starting from the same point, is really, really a great thing. Did you have much executive sponsorship? Did you have kind of awareness for the business to let everyone know we've got a new BRM team and this is what they're going to do?
Yeah, that was one big challenge for us, because as soon as the training happened and we started getting into the role, what happened is the COVID-19, and that really put things a bit off for us, because we had to get virtual in our business. So, business BRM role, IT business partnership role, is more of facing, your business partners, internal service providers, and that makes a whole lot of a difference when you have a personal rapport. But we got virtual right in the beginning of this capability. So yes, but still we could manage. That is why 1.5 2 years, the awareness of a BRM role within internally and externally within our organization was low. However, we are trying to manage it in a way or other, but that actually put our maturity in the organization a bit slower, because virtually it's like, yeah, he must be like one of those project managers or project coordinators, trying to get things done. They really did not understand our roles, and that is why whatever came to them, like, okay, this is a single point of contact, just let's give it to him, or to her, this task. So they didn't really understand. We had to really struggle, communicate time and again verbally, through emails, through a bit of campaign from our management side, that what this role is really about. So it went a bit slow, yeah. But then
But has that helped?
Sorry?
Has that helped? So the campaign, the awareness campaign, where you were letting people know this is what the BRM team do, have you had a good response to that?
It did have a better response, but as our organization consists of more than 35,000 to 40,000 employees, and that is the reason the leadership, executive leadership, is so huge that very few players, like we interact directly with the executive directors or the directors, some of the CEOs. So down the level of them, it was a bit challenging, because sometimes they would just know that, oh, this BRMs do the RFPs and business cases, so this is what they're meant for. Exactly, they did not understand the role still, because so much of propagation within the organization couldn't be pushed at that point of time, because they were pretty busy with the COVID thing. And then after that, yes, slowly, when we started having executive management's meetings in person, that is the time they started understanding the down below line, started understanding the role. Yeah.
Okay. How many people are there in your BRM team?
We have 4 at the moment. There were earlier 5, but one of them moved on. So we have 4 we have around, you can say, 17 different, since I belong to a healthcare industry and I belong to a government health services, we have 16 healthcare facilities spread across Qatar, and we take care of them, and so it is very huge. Yeah.
And how many direct relationships would you say each BRM has within the business and within IT?
Yeah, within each of the facilities, you could say at least 6 to 8 direct relationships we have, from where we day to day, be getting our assignments, or most of the. So let me bring back to your earlier question. In the beginning, it was more of operational, task coming to us, or transactional, more of things which are day to day, which really, if you look at it from today's point of view, it's not. The BRM's role is much more than handling or taking care of this. So we had a hard time putting together our awareness that we are not just for this, we are much working on a higher level of executive management and not just operational. So we have moved on, but still it's like you can say 40-60 kind of a thing,
Right.
which happens. Yeah.
Okay. Where does the BRM function roll up into in Hamad?
Okay, we have a BRM director also, but it's not a full-time role for him. So he gets, the role is divided for him into enterprise architecture, BRM, and IT devices. So it is more of right now a part-time, So that is what it is. And then the next level is the executive director, whom the BRM director reports to. Then we have the chief of the IT, whom the technical director reports. This is the structure.
Okay. And do you have dotted lines into any parts of the business, or you just report through to IT?
Yeah, we right now the structure is only reporting directly to IT. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a dotted line now.
Okay.
I wish it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask, I ask all of our guests, where do they think who do they sit with best? So do you have a better relationship with the business, or do you have a better relationship with the IT functions, and who views you as the kind of the closest alliance?
Yeah, so it is actually balanced right now. What I see for us, we need to work in and out, with the business. Definitely, we have, over the years, last 5 years, we've built fantastic relationships with them. Earlier, we had challenges because of the awareness. Now they would know exactly, at least 80% of the time what we are supposed to ask the BRMs. In the same way, within our IT department, they are understanding also that, oh yes, this role, this is what is in it, and this is what we can expect them to come to us to ask on behalf of the business. So it is that way. Yeah. So I would say that, if you're going back to the organizational structure, there should be some dotted line with the business also, because it should be a balanced thing. But again, it depends on organization needs, how they want to treat this role as.
Yeah. We've had a couple of guests, and 𝑷𝒂𝒓𝒕𝒏𝒆𝒓 from the Reserve Bank here in South Africa was one that was saying that they tried, having come from IT, they tried so hard to understand the business and integrate with the business. They actually became closer to the business and kind of moved away from IT, and so that relationship broke down because they were so focused on trying to understand the business. Is that something you've experienced? But have you, coming from an IT background, that you've spent more time trying to understand this?
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think all of us BRMs in any of our industries, I think we go through that phase where, since we have been appointed by the IT or the HR function or finance function, we try to, because this is a helping role again, at the end of the day. So whom are we helping? We are appointed to help and make things easy for the business. So we start to fall on that ground more than us. We think that, okay, we are already in this IT function. So all the IT is in our hand and we can get things done through them. But at the same time, we want to give more emphasis on the businesses because they are waiting. They don't understand most of the time what is in it for them from the IT side. We got to educate them. We got to say that this is the service offerings and this is how we can get for you. And the way businesses put it, we know that they are not knowledgeable about IT. So we fall, more on their side of the business to ease things for them than our side, because our side is already taken care of. So it is, yes, I agree with the Reserve Bank, the people over there, that, yeah, we do go through the same. Yeah.
Do you spend much time helping the business understand IT's limitations and or work they've already got undertaken? Because this is something that when I spoke to Jeremy back in episode 1, he was saying that IT have a lot to do, the IT function have a lot to do, and sometimes business don't appreciate what it is that they're dealing with. And one of the things that he's done is brought IT along with him to business meetings to say, look, this is what they've been working on, this is what they've been managed to achieve, it's fantastic, so we should kind of give them credit for that. Do you ever have that conversation with business to say, look, I know this is what you want, but this is, there are kind of restrictions and resource issues within IT, so just to appreciate that.
This is absolutely day-to-day thing for us dealing with this, because knowingly or unknowingly, we have, processes, policies, procedures, rules, regulations, all that in place. But in spite of that, businesses, because of their, budget constraints or timelines, they want to skip some of those processes, or they see that, okay, this is, this person, the BRM is my person, he's the single point of focus for me. So, I can get things done from him through other ways. I do not have to always follow policies and procedures. So let's try this. At least they try to do that. Let's try it with him. Why should we write a business case? Why should we write a RFP? Why should we, even create a need? Let's treat this as a operational, as a business as usual, and get things done. Sometimes, there are state laws, which we cannot. There is the Ministry of Information and Technology, rules and regulations coming, restrictions coming, which we have to adhere to, and we have to keep on making them knowledgeable about this, that, boss, this is, you need to sign this form, you need to, furnish this details, and you need to go through this process. Otherwise, this is not going to move. It will get stuck up in the portfolio. Supply chain is not going to accept this request, So that is continuous cycle. Yeah.
Just talking about cycles, as a BRM function, do you have oversight or take part in the entire kind of value cycle? So from when ideas are spawned by business through to when IT deliver them and to when business ultimately, hopefully, realize that value. Do you take part in that whole cycle?
Some of them, yes, but most of them, no, because we have a scope till where we can, then it becomes, you see the RACI matrix, then we become more informed about the things in the end, or consulted. At the beginning, we are accountable, we are responsible for getting it done until it reaches a project management state, where after the project management stage, we do educate the project manager. This is, if they require that, these are the requirements, this is the scope of the project, and you can take it from here. But some of the times, yes, some of the projects would require our inputs till the end of the cycle of the project cycle. So yes, a couple of projects, but we try not to, because it will interfere with the project manager's role also. if we try to intervene and get things done. So yeah, I think it's a conflict of interest situation which happens. We have realized that in a couple of things. If we get involved, if sometimes you want to really get involved because you feel that this is so important for the organization and you want to be there till the end of the project life cycle. But you have to draw a line somewhere, because you cannot help after a certain limit here.
Okay. Is there any function that has oversight of all of the projects? So you have all these kind of projects that IT or whoever are working on. Do you have anyone, does BRM oversight, or does anyone else within the organization have oversight of all these projects?
Yes, so we have a portfolio management team who keeps a oversight of all this here. So every week they meet and they do the project status updates, and if they have to review the business cases, RFPs, back and forth, they come back to us. So we work actually hand in hand with the portfolio team for sure.
Okay.
Until approvals are done and it's moved to the projects.
Okay. You mentioned there that the business cases, is that something you're involved in helping develop, or do you just ensure that they are done and done correctly? What is your involvement there?
Yeah, so this is where it comes in. So what we are supposed to do, and see, business case is for the business. Okay, so we can help from start to the end, but we cannot write a business case for others. Even though we can write, we shouldn't be writing because it's a business thing. And if you even know the business so much, you might miss out on a lot of details. Some of the details you wouldn't know, even about the budgets, about the cost, about the counts of what is the requirement, about some of the solutions, or some of those history of what they've been going through. You won't have all those details. So it's best to leave the business cases to them, to the business, and help them develop it. Same goes for the RFP. You might have the best templates, but the information which you are getting in this, a BRM cannot completely 100% given what the business will give. Yeah.
Right. What are some of the common challenges that your team face, what either yourself or your team face on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so as I was mentioning earlier also, when you become a single point of focus for somebody and you become too friendly with them, you get too close to them, they take you sometimes for granted, and they want to get things done through you. So we do face that on a day-to-day basis, but we have understood how to handle that also, situations like that. And also, I think some of the times what we feel is that, once you said writing a business case, you need to also put a stop to that and say that I have helped you, a couple of times, and this is where you need to. Some of the people take advantages from other departments. So, can you just write this business case for me? Can you, just get this IT ports done for me, networking ports done for me? Can you? So there is a process. You need to keep educating them. So you should, draw a line and tell them that you need to put a stop to this. This is the way you need to go. I have helped you probably last time out of the way, but this is the way to go, because otherwise you'll get so much taking being the good guy, trying to be the good guy and taking all on yourself, and at the end you will be burdened with so much that you will not have strategic focus on really the big things which you should be helping the business about.
Yeah. Just talking about strategic, do you find that the business do welcome you into those meetings? That they're happy to share their strategy with you and get your input on maybe how they can achieve that strategy?
Oh yes, we have gone through the relationship maturity model curve, from starting from ad hoc to the next level so some of the the facilities really, four cities each, and most of the facilities now treat us like the trusted advisors. Where they do call us, and they take our inputs on as for the IT strategic plan and how's IT looking at this. Can we go, for example, since the AI recently last 2 years, so much is coming in, and how the departments are coming back to us and asking that what is IT plan for the AI and how can we align with that, and we want to do so much in our own facilities, and how do we go about it. This is one of the examples. But also, if there is in healthcare, in hospitals, there's so much of technology changing in terms of the devices, healthcare devices. There's so much changing, so they do come back to us with asking consultations on how do we go about this. Is this the right way to go? So if we are not able to even give those answers, we connect them to the IT leaders within our department and get the collaboration done, the partnership done between them to take things forward. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. So you mentioned you have these different parts of the business that you work with. Do you ever talk to BRMs from other organizations just to see how they're working with their business or IT partners? Is there any kind of, because you obviously have a community in Qatar and in the Middle East, do you have access to other BRMs that you can talk to about how they're doing things?
Yeah. So until the BRM World Tour, we had very limited access to other BRMs. There are actually some part-time BRMs doing a dual role in Qatar, but not too many. We have, now that, we met at the World Tour, Qatar BRM World Tour, we are beginning to collaborate and understand each other. Since we run the biggest capability, I could say, in Qatar right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually others are taking inputs on how do they develop themselves. So
Right.
it is just starting here. Otherwise, there are very few companies here who have really started this capability, and they're understanding the importance of it now. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. So others are learning from you, which is
Yeah, which is really, after all this experience and all, I think it's best to share, and that helps us also to develop.
Yeah. Do you ever, as a BRM team, get together to say, I've been working with this partner and we've got a bit of a challenge here, or I've been working with this partner and we've done something really nicely, so maybe we can use that in other parts of the business?
Oh yes. So we started with this executive, committee for BRM particularly. There was an executive committee we started, so that quarterly at least we meet once, and that really took off well, because in that forum, all those directors of one single facility used to come, and they used to put on their questions to us to understand, to clarify. So that really made a huge difference and awareness. You have so much virtual going on in today's world in terms of meetings and all, but when you come face to face in a single meeting, a forum, in a single place at the same time, that makes a huge difference. So this executives meeting started like 2 years back, and I see still, they do quote that meeting, and they say that this is what was agreed upon, so can we start moving on this. And so that and recently, there were a couple of healthcare hospital accreditations surveys. So in spite of BRM scope not being within that to support an accreditation survey, but they were the this facility which I was associated with, they were so much keen to have me on board because there are a lot of technology standards within the survey which they wanted support. So for 3 full days, I was just side by side with the executive management.
Okay.
And survey went fantastic because they were they were relaxed that we have a technology partner here sitting next to us. If there are any questions, this is the IT BRM who will answer this, and that is what has happened.
Okay.
And so these are like special cases we do support out of our scope also.
As a BRM team, you're obviously trying to nurture your relationships, your direct relationships, and you have the people that you commonly speak to. Do you spend much time kind of nurturing other people's relationships? So if there's someone that you deal with here and someone that you deal with here, and you know that they could actually get along nicely, and kind of you could step out the chain and let them deal with it. Do you have much of that?
Yes, of course. I remember one example at least, that hit me right when you were asking. There was, this applications team, and there was a database team guys. There was a conflict in between them because of the mutual understandings. And, somehow, because we have a good relationship with both of this, I could get to them together because so much depends on the integration resources as well as application. And if they do not talk to each other, or they do not want to support each other, trying to ignore that would create a lot of delays and conflicts in taking things forward. And I was so glad when I could get them together on the same table after speaking to them separately first and then putting them together. And it just like they were privately, they said that Muslim, like, I thought I'll never speak to this person ever anymore. And I didn't know his point of view. And now that you brought us together and we sorted differences, it's been almost a year, and things are going great for them. Yeah,
that's wonderful. I mean, when I remember, sorry,
and they understood that they have a common, kind of relationship on community also when they started talking to each other. So that was really good.
That's wonderful that you've been able to do that. I mean, I think I mentioned this before when I used to work in a bank, and they would have every year they would have kind of kickoffs, and then you'd spend some time in a simulation. So you jump into other people's roles so you could get an appreciation of what they did. But these events that we attended, sometimes people were talking to each other for the first time. So they'd been dealing with each other, or they were aware of each other. And sometimes you'd have someone's output with someone else's input. But again, these people had never spoken. And then when you go to these events, suddenly people meet face to face. Some people have an appreciation of people. They get to know the person, what they are as an actual person. And so the whole dynamic changes, and suddenly the working relationship is really strengthened, and there's massive improvements all around.
Yeah, this I think this role brings so much of connections, connecting people and getting them together and getting things done in a more always there are procedures to do, but then I keep on saying this, relationship matters, and it makes a huge difference, and it does not cost anything. See, people have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have many external relationships that you need to manage?
So external in the sense external to the department, but within the facility, yes. But yes, we cannot have really always direct relationships with the suppliers or the vendors. We do speak to them on meetings and forums, but the policy of the organization does not allow us to have that most of the time. But sometimes, yeah, if the requirement is there, yes, we do.
Because we've seen in some organizations, and typically and unfortunately, in a public sector, when you have vendors come in to sell things, they're not always scrupulous, and sometimes the business can end up buying things or signing up to things that aren't necessarily necessary. And so having a BRM in the room at that point is kind of just to make sure, actually, we don't need this, but we do need this. So can you go away and think about that and maybe deliver something else to us? So is that something you've been involved in?
Oh yes, just yesterday's example I can give you.
Okay.
Yeah, this also is very common, and since it's a huge organization where I come from, and this is like a day-to-day things that all the vendors in the city wants to be associated with. They want to, from their point of view, they're right. They want to somehow get into it, you know even though we have a process, vendor management process, there's a supply chain and everything in place, but somehow, you meet people in the conferences, or people go all over the world. They'll come here, they'll start, requesting for demos. They'll try to somehow get their way in. That is their way of doing things, but then we also have to deal with it sometimes. So we do always educate our business partners that this is the process, and there are policies for this. Even though they know it, we need to keep re-educating them on this. And yeah, they keep getting, there's someone, let's get this demo done. In fact, some of the vendors try to also ask us that, can you but then we have to put them back to the process which we had. Yeah, I think huge organizations face this every day. And what happens is, yesterday's example, they'll go ahead, they'll see a demo, they won't even tell anybody the business, and then they come up with us, oh, we've already seen the product, this is fine. And when we ask them from the IT point of view, are you sure that you need an interface, you need an integration? Yeah. We should have been involved to guide you. If you are going to get this, probably maybe the Ministry of Communication and Technology may not accept this device because of this kind of frequency this device is having. So you're going to get, this is the product which is banned probably in our country. You cannot get it in. So how are you already? And some of the business partners, I don't know, they have a way to go and procure things, and then they come back to IT and they say that, oh, now please, can you get this interfaced? Oh my God, that is the that is again so much common, and we yet get now what to do, because our job is to enable the technology for them. And we get into that embarrassing position. Oh, now this person somehow he's high up and he's bought this, and now how do we enable it? And so we tell them to go back to the process, start with the business case, come back to us, even though the procurement has been done, so that at least we can review what are his IT requirements and how do we fulfill. At the end of the day, we have to do it, but it is challenging.
Yeah. Do you think your colleagues in IT have an appreciation for how you can help them kind of manage their demand? Because I mean, we've from a few of our guests, we've said that one of the benefits of having a BRM is that there's not this kind of continual barrage of requests coming through from business, that the BRM can help shape it, understand it, know whether some of these are not going to have any legs, no value, so that they're really able to streamline what is going through into IT.
Oh yes. So yeah, that's again comes back with the experience and maturity what I was talking about previously. So in the beginning, we also didn't used to understand them, their point of view. Used to say, what's this? We are getting requests, and why are they not able to fulfill this? So there are reasons behind it. So we have to understand from the service provider point of view also, that what are their challenges? Why can't they get it? What is the kind of requests they are getting on a day-to-day? And some of the requests are really, shouldn't be coming. For example, going back to the procurement part, if there is already a system in place, an IT system in place in one of our facilities, and another facility is asking for the same or a similar one, and that facility is not knowledgeable, that there is already existing system here in the organization. So, so those kind of challenges we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any way to kind of demonstrate this work to other people? Do you have reports? Do you have to show what's coming in, what you've kind of pushed to one side, what you've gone through, and which one of those have been successful? Are you able to share any of this with the rest of the business?
Yeah, so with the business, yes, we do the operational reports and all on their behalf, but that is not the BRM role. That gets done through the business intelligence reporting and all that. But on our hand, internally within the IT domain, what we do is we create the business relationship management reports on a monthly basis, which we do on a daily basis. We do the accountability, where we are, what is the status of various requests coming in.
Okay.
Even we do it at a detailed level, like whom have we communicated, what was communicated today, more similar to a CRM kind of. We have not adopted any CRM tool for that yet, but right now we are doing manually, you can say, in the Excel sheets of trying to create dashboards from it. And on a monthly basis, the executive leadership looks at this report. How many of the business cases, RFPs, any escalations, any challenges, what is going good, what is not going good. So yeah, so this has started from last couple of months. Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And do you have to take kind of data from the other functions around you, so stuff from the project managers or stuff from the architects to use in that data dashboard?
Yeah, definitely. So all the other teams also, we have the business analyst team, we have the enterprise architecture, the integration team. Everyone gives their part of it. And on a day-to-day basis, we know exactly because of the email communications and the meetings, minutes and all. So each one individually has to put on in their data into those templates,
Okay.
and then bring out a report from their own units.
Okay.
And all this is consolidated, and one big portfolio report is generated. Who's doing what and what is going right, wrong, and the status of various requests.
Okay, that's great. Do you use AI to help you with any of this collation of data?
Not really collation. We haven't started using that for collation of data yet. But yes, on a day-to-day basis, definitely, it is becoming a boon to the, our work, that so much hours we used to take to probably generate business cases, some of the RFP datas, and so better language on constructive language and better, ideas getting into. So we do prepare our own thing, then we try to get a better picture out of the ChatGPT or DeepSeek, and try to, because that also helps the reviewers, so it is actually a great learning, that what and what could be better on improved. So why not to use it? Yeah. It's nothing about cheating or anything. It's just improving. And this is the way to go. You have to, if you're not going to adopt it today, you will have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting because I guess like any new thing, there's a lot of fear around it. But having spoken to a lot of BRMs, and actually Jeremy did a talk on AI back in November last year. I mean, it's, if you use it for the right reasons, use it to kind of help you do the grunt work, then it gives you more time to do the value add work, which is great.
Exactly. That is what is happening exactly, Mark. That, what I used to do, business cases, maybe I used to take 2-3 days, in looking at it, re-looking at it, just making sure everything is okay. Now you take it in 3 or 4 hours, you're done with it, you're sent. So much of time you get to interact really what job you have. You can go and meet face to face, build those relationships. Especially for a BRM, I could say that I'm able to spend more time now speaking to them on the phone, or having a virtual meeting or meeting them. Before, I used to just, if I have 3 cases, the whole week goes in that, you know. So I'm not able to focus on anything else. But now I'm able to do, if I was able to do 5 things in a day, I'm able to do maybe 12 things now in a day. So that's really eased my work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Definitely.
Is there anything you've learned recently in the last year or so that has kind of made a profound impact on how you do your role?
Oh, yes. Again, me being associated with the BRM community of Middle East and Africa, and all the leaders associated with them, and also BRM Institute, of course. We meet on a weekly basis, and that has really impacted what on my job also, because I've got a sense of responsibility that as a leader of this community, I'm supposed to be reading more of BRMs, which I used to ignore. Oh, okay, newsletters have come, this, that. So I'm more into reading whatever comes in, listening to the podcast, especially what you're doing and what some others like Suresh is doing, brown bags and all. And 1 year of being closely related to the BRM community from last time of this year, last year, until now, so much I have achieved professionally, and also I could use that at the workplace. Most important being that I completed, I should be firstly thankful to you, Mark. Through the executive education, the IT winners, I could complete my CBRM.
Oh, yes.
I could achieve it, and I'm so thankful and grateful to you, IT winners, for that. And it was a real pleasure, and a learning doing that, completing that. Immediately I joined the BRM, Middle East community. So many of the webinars we have done together. Then recently we did the BRM World Tour, and I was so happy. Again in the BRM week, I received the top BRM award.
Yep.
So
Congratulations again. Yeah.
all these things happen in just 1 year. So I was thinking that if I could really be working last 5 years as within the community, and all this, it could have been much more on a maturity level for me than what I am today. So yeah, it's great, and I feel more connected, and I would like to support and help, and and it's building my personality personally also. I'm getting better with the people, with my friends and my relatives, and I know how to deal with them better.
Wonderful. It's interesting, having spoken to a few of the other guests, how they say that things that they do outside of work can really impact how they are inside of work. It's how it kind of building your character, because it's such the role depends on so much you as a person, your empathy, your ability to communicate and connect with people, that what you could do outside of the office has sometimes a real impact on how you perform internally.
Definitely. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah.
How do you see the BRM role evolving going forward?
Yeah, so as the awareness, what my benchmark would be like, what PMI has done to the project management community. I always look at that BRM community, one day, not very long it's going to be taking, that they are going to go hand in hand with the, something what PMI has evolved over the last probably 50 years. BRM should take not more than 15 to 20 years to evolve, and to be known that every single organization would require a BRM, to help them ease their work and to get things done rightly, and without much of conflicts and challenges, which that there's always a divide between the business and the IT, and that bridging of gap. But it's much more beyond that, connecting this and making things easy for everyone, and getting that win-win situation for both the parties, and having that job satisfaction for the BRM at the end of the day. Probably in West, it is more recognized, the BRM role. Here, I could talk about Middle East, at least that, yeah, they are beginning, probably they think this is an additional unwanted role right now. Anyone can do it as a coordinator, but as a professional title with some of the organizations don't even want to give it, because it's like creating a new position and a new pay scale. They have to put in a new budget for that, so they're trying to avoid. But how long? They do not understand the importance of having this role in the organization and what it can do to them. So once they start understanding that, I think it is going to go like a forest fire within this region also. Yeah.
But I definitely think, I mean, we've been involved in IT best practices for years and years, and there's always been this divide between those two groups of people. And every year you think, that divide's going to get smaller, and with, as technology becomes more pervasive, you think, well, it has to close that gap, and yet we still have that gap. I just wonder how we're going to close it. And I know that BRM and business partners are a good way to do that, but I think we just have to do as a community more to convince leadership, I guess, and our colleagues to let us do what we can do. Because I definitely think that role and the broader capability is definitely the way that problem is going to be solved. It's just at the moment it doesn't seem that people are being given the freedom to do that.
Correct. Yeah. So some of the organization want to have a dual role. Okay, you can be a BRM, but this is your core thing, and then you have another role called BRM, which you can take up. So, but that wouldn't work. That would be again conflict of interest in a role. It has to be very specific. You can't say you be an engineer and a doctor together.
That would make for an interesting combination, I think. We're coming to the end of our time now. So as I ask all my guests, is there, the people that are in the role, maybe people that are struggling with relationship building and maturing, is there any advice that you can give? Something you've learned, maybe something you've learned from others or through the trainings, something you can impart on other people?
Yeah, I think starting point, you got to educate yourself. First on, you might be a good relationship manager, personally or professionally, but then if you're trained well, you know exactly what is required and what would fall in your scope, that would make things easy for you and for your organization also. So get these trainings done. Recently, one of the trainings you remember I got from the executive education leadership series from you, Mark, and that is something like even if you don't want to go to the BRMP at this moment, at least go through those small little conversations, something like this IT business partner playbook, get awareness, and then get a certification done, because certification is not really for you, but it is for the business and for your organization to understand that yes, there is a trained resource, who's dedicated for this function, this capability. Then you can advance your role into CBRM, MBRM, and there is a world waiting out there. So I would say that get that self-awareness of this role first, and definitely this even though it might in short term not really be understood by the organization, but in long term they understand that when they find that need, that things are falling out of place, they might involve you in this kind of a position where you can get the things done for them.
Yeah. I don't want to steal your final thought there or steal your thunder, but just to add to that, because I think these certifications are great in starting with a level playing field, so that you've all got the same foundation. My only kind of word of advice there would be aware of what's going on in your organization already. So the certification have a whole amount of advice and guidance and frameworks you can follow. Just take the best bits of those and how they apply to your organization. Don't try to stick something in that isn't going to fit, because then that kind of upsets people and makes things difficult. So take from those certification what you know will work in your organization, and then over time, if you think there's things that can be improved, ease them in gently rather than just big bang approach.
Oh yes, I would completely agree with that, Mark. Like there's so much, it's like BRM, when you go do these certifications, you have these guides. There's so much in that you can actually take back to your organization, but everything does not have to be, implemented within or cannot be implemented due to whatever reasons. So yeah, one step at a time, and then you can. So you have been given, so much, but you know what to pick and what to take back, and eventually, things fall into place, like it has done for us. So yeah, it's a journey at the end of it, and it's a fantastic journey, and it is a journey which satisfies you at the end of the day. Some of the jobs don't satisfy, but definitely BRM role, IT business partner role, for me has satisfied. I've been in different roles through my career, and this is one role which I feel the closest to, which I feel that this was waiting for me,
Yeah.
to get to. So yeah, it's a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, no, well, you've certainly made a success of it, and you're very well regarded within your community, and it's wonderful that you're able to support those other companies that have younger BRM functions that are able to, you're able to help them mature. So keep doing what you're doing, Muslim. You're certainly appreciated within the community, and I really appreciate you joining the show today. And I hope people are able to take a lot away from it and use those insights to help them in their own roles. So thanks so much, Muslim, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you so much, Mark. It was a pleasure, speaking to you, and I'm always available. If someone wants to connect, anything on BRM and how to take things forward. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Take
We'll
care.
make sure we share your details.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Thanks again, Muslim.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.